Olga kept reminiscing about the past with James, their great times, and their romantic days. She was still standing on the balcony, tired from standing. So she sat down on a couch that was on the balcony as memories of her worst day flooded back. The day brought her all the suffering, the wind blowing her hair, her eyes filled with tears as she recalled the day she first had sex with James. It was a beautiful Sunday. She woke up happy to have spent 10 months with James. Blushing, she thought to herself, I think I need to surprise him. Let me start with a morning text. She took her phone to draft a message. Happy 10 months, my love. Thank you for being my rock and a shoulder to cry on. These 10 months feel like a day. Thank you for making every day fantastic. She went to Maggie's room, knocked, and entered. Girl, what gift can I give James? Maggie, still feeling the beauty of her sleep, said, A gift? For what? Any special occasion? No, girl. Today is our 10th full month together. Only 2 months remain until our anniversary. He's been nothing but a blessing to me and to us. He always sends gifts to me, but I have never given him anything. Maggie wondered and said, Girl, you know your man. Look for something he likes and don't struggle with prices because he's super rich. Just find something he can treasure. Olga comprehended her friend's words and then said, I think I know what gift could make him happy. Tell me, what is it? Olga smiled, then answered, Me. Olga, what do you mean? Olga was too shy to explain it to Maggie. I think I trust him enough to give myself to him. You know what I mean. Maggie laughed and added, Girl, finally you're going to open your legs. But know this, men are unpredictable. And with your body, it's completely different. Always use protection. Don't let the love you have for him, or the image of him he placed in your head, hinder the truth I am telling you. Most of all, you don't know if his family will accept you if problems arise. Maggie, don't worry. I know him. He's a man who keeps his word. I will go to him in the evening, cook for him, and give him a great evening. But before I could open my legs to him, I would ask him to promise to love me and protect me forever, no matter what came our way. As the day progressed, Olga couldn't shake off the excitement mixed with a hint of nervousness about her plan. She dressed to set the mood and headed to James's villa. A domestic worker greeted her. You're welcome, ma'am. You look dazzling, but Mr. Hawkins is not here yet. Olga smiled and then answered with respect. I know. That's exactly why I am here. I want to surprise him. Now I am relieving you tonight. You can all go home. All the domestic workers loved her so much because of how she treated them and respected them, unlike Jocelyn, who used to bully everyone below only because she was James's fiancée. All the maids were happy, and they wished her nothing but happiness with James. Olga headed to the kitchen and meticulously prepared a sumptuous dinner, ensuring everything was perfect for their special evening together. As the sun started to set, she adorned herself in an elegant dress, her heart pounding with anticipation. James arrived, greeted by the inviting aroma of the food and the sight of Olga, radiant and beautiful. He was touched by her gesture and couldn't contain his happiness as they sat down for dinner. Throughout the evening they laughed, shared stories, and savored each moment together. Olga found herself falling deeper in love with James, her resolve strengthening with every passing moment. Finally, as dessert was served, Olga mustered up the courage to express her feelings. With trembling hands and a voice filled with emotion, she looked into James's eyes and poured her heart out, expressing her love and her desire for their relationship to deepen. James listened attentively, his eyes reflecting warmth and affection. And when Olga finally asked him to promise to love and protect her forever, his response was everything she had hoped for. My dear Olga, James began, taking her hands in his. From the moment I met you, I knew you were someone special. You've brought so much joy and love into my life, and I promise to cherish and protect you for as long as I live. Together, will weather any storm that comes our way. Tears of joy welled up in Orga's eyes as she realized that her love for James was reciprocated in full measure. In that moment, surrounded by love and warmth, she knew that their bond was unbreakable. As the evening drew to a close, they embraced, their hearts beating as one, knowing that they were embarking on a journey of love and companionship that would last a lifetime. And as they shared a tender kiss under the starlit sky, Orga felt a sense of contentment wash over her, knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be, in James's arms, forever. They headed to his bedroom, sharing a deep kiss. But before they could further their intimacy, Orga wanted to make sure that James would marry her. She was going to give her virginity to a man. She wanted assurance. She looked into his eyes, searching for the truth. James, before we take this step, I need to know something. I have promised myself that I will stay a virgin and do it with my husband. So now that it has come to this, I want to know if you have me in your future plans. I want an assurance that you'll be that person, the man. Will you marry me? James gazed back at Orga, his expression one of genuine surprise mixed with affection. He took a moment to collect his thoughts before responding. Orga, you've caught me off guard, but let me tell you this. I've never felt more sure about anything in my life. Yes, I will marry you. I want to spend the rest of my days waking up to your smile, sharing our joys and sorrows, and building a future together. You're the one I've been waiting for, and I can't imagine my life without you. I have a lot on my plate now. You know the project isn't working as I wanted, but I will make you officially mine after this. Orga's heart swelled with joy at James's heartfelt words. She knew in that moment that she had made the right decision, and her love for him deepened even further. With tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks, Orga threw her arms around James, holding him tight as if never wanting to let go. In that embrace, she found the assurance she sought, knowing that their love was strong enough to conquer any obstacle. As they sealed their promise with a passionate kiss, Orga felt a sense of completeness wash over her. She was ready to give herself fully to James, body, heart, and soul, knowing that their love was bound by a sacred vow that would last a lifetime. And as they embarked on this new chapter of their lives together, Orga couldn't help but feel grateful for the twists and turns that had led her to James. For in him, she had found not only her soulmate, but also her lifelong partner, ready to walk hand in hand through the journey of life with love and devotion. Their intimacy that night was not just a physical union, but a sacred expression of their commitment to each other. Orga felt a deep sense of trust and security in James's arms, knowing that he would always be there for her, no matter what challenges they faced. In the quiet moments after their passion had subsided, they lay together, basking in the glow of their love. Orga traced her fingers lightly over James's chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart beneath her touch. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely more than a breath. "Thank you for loving me and accepting me just as I am." James turned to her, his eyes soft with affection. "Orga, my love, thank you for this. For giving yourself to me and making me the happiest man in the world. You are everything to me. I promise to always cherish you, to support you, and to stand by your side through every trial and triumph. You are my heart, now and forever." With those words, Orga felt a sense of peace settle over her, knowing that she had found her place in the world, wrapped in the arms of the man she loved. As they drifted off to sleep, their bodies entwined in a tender embrace, Orga knew that their love story was just beginning. And as long as they had each other, she was certain that they could overcome anything that life threw their way. With a contented smile on her lips, Orga closed her eyes, her heart full of gratitude for the gift of James's love. And as she drifted into dreams filled with visions of their future together, she knew that their love would only continue to grow stronger with each passing day. But she never knew that this decision would haunt her forever, like a mad ghost. After that time, things started to get complicated between them. James's project was failing for unknown reasons. He barely had time for her. But Orga tried to be an understanding and supportive girlfriend throughout those troubled days. She knew he loved her so much to neglect her. He had to first make sure his business was back on track. A month passed, and James was still fighting for his company. He had put everything into the Horizon project, and he was afraid of losing, especially since he didn't know who was sabotaging his project plans. Orga was a full employee at Hawkins Corporation. Of course, she clearly understood what her boyfriend was going through as the CEO. The pressure of the family, shareholders, and board, the lives of employees who depend on him and the company. She had to support her boyfriend now that he asked her not to come to the villa without him knowing. She understood that James needed time and space to sort out the mystery before it got out of control. In a few weeks, Orga started to feel sick and weak. She decided to go for a checkup. But before she could go, she decided to call James. "My love, how are you? How is the situation now? Is it still worsening?" James, not wanting to scare her, said, "No, darling, it's a bit hard, but I will work it out. You don't have to worry." Orga was satisfied with the answer but felt that James was busy, so she decided not to tell him about her going to the hospital. Still holding her phone, she sent a message to Maggie. "Girl, I am going to the hospital. I am not feeling well. I hope your recording goes well." Putting her phone in her purse, she entered her car and left. James was sitting in his office and saw Orga's car leaving work early. But he didn't think too much. He continued his work. Looking at his watch, he stood up to leave the office. He had a meeting to attend. He took his phone and called Nick. "Nick, come to my office now." Just after he hung up, he received a call from his fiancée, Jocelyn. The woman he didn't love yet needed his help. "Hey, Joss, how are you?" Jocelyn spoke in a seductive tone. "Hun, I am fine. I heard that your company is sinking, and I was disappointed to hear it from a third party. Why won't you tell me? You know I am always there for you." James got what he wanted, but he couldn't show that he needed her. "Joss, I really didn't know how to tell you, and I didn't want you to worry." "Oh, James, you're my fiancé. There's really no problem. I called you to tell you that I am coming back. I hope we get married soon so that my family can invest in your company." James was numbed by the sudden news. He had a girl he loved so much, Orga, but she needs Jocelyn now that his company is in trouble. He responded, "You're welcome, dear. I can't wait to see you again." James said those words, but deep inside, he knew he didn't want them. Jocelyn, beaming with pleasure, added, "I can't wait to see you too, darling. See you tomorrow." After hanging up the call, James was weakened, thinking about how he was going to manage the situation of two women in his life. Still lost in his thoughts, he heard a knock on the door. "Come in," he instructed. Nick entered and noticed that his boss was stressed. "Sir, you wanted to see me. I have already sent the meeting minutes and your presentation by email. I saw that I was heading to the meeting, but I had a serious problem. Jocelyn is coming back with expectations of marriage and investment in the company. And Orga. She's been so supportive, but I fear she might not understand the situation with Jocelyn." Nick listened intently, understanding the gravity of the situation. "Sir, it sounds like a tough spot. Have you thought about how you'll handle it?" James sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "Honestly, Nick, I have no idea. I care deeply for Orga, but Jocelyn's family could provide the financial lifeline the company desperately needs right now. I don't want to hurt either of them, but I'm running out of options." Nick pondered for a moment before offering a suggestion. "I think you need to choose what you need the most. If it's the company, then you'll have to be honest with Orga and tell her the truth. If you need love, then you need to tell Jocelyn the truth. That's the only solution I could think of." James nodded, considering Nick's advice. You're right. It's time to face the music and be upfront with both of them. Thank you, Nick. Oh, give me the hard copies of last month's report right now. Bring them to the meeting room ASAP. Yes, sir, right away, Nick responded and left the office. James prepared himself mentally for the challenging meeting ahead. He couldn't shake the feeling of guilt weighing heavily on him for not being able to succeed in the Horizon project and not protecting his love. He knew that whatever decision he made would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the company, but for his personal life as well. Meanwhile, Olga sat in the hospital waiting room, anxiously awaiting the results of her tests. She couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled in the pit of her stomach ever since she started feeling sick. But she tried to push those thoughts aside, hoping it was just a minor ailment that would pass soon. As she waited, her mind wandered to James and the difficult time he was going through with the company. She wanted to be there for him and support him in any way she could. But with her own health issues to contend with now, she wondered if she would be able to be the pillar of strength he needed. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Maggie. Hey, how did the checkup go? Everything okay? Olga sighed, typing out a response. I'm still waiting for the results. I feel a bit nervous, to be honest. Maggie replied almost instantly. I'm sure it's nothing serious, but let me know as soon as you hear back. And if you need anything, I'm here for you, okay? Olga smiled, grateful for her friend's support. Thanks, Maggie. I appreciate it more than you know. As she tucked her phone back into her purse, Olga couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the back of her mind. Little did she know, the news she was about to receive would change her life forever.